Good evening, Drew.
Today sucked, man.
I'm sorry. Do you need a hug?
I do need a hug. Can you send virtual hugs?
I'm sending you a mental hug.
Okay. I felt it. It was a little late. It was a little latency in getting there.
Yeah. It
No,
takes a
I
little
mean, it was just one of those days where there were so many things out of my control that that just totally contributed to not being a good day. Like, here's a perfect example. So, got up this morning, made my eggy muffies, and I came downstairs with a fresh cup of coffee. I had just taken Rocky for a walk. It was like 8:15. I sit down. I'm logged in for the day. I've got a very clear list of things that I need to get done, and that is just the best feeling in the world. Like, you know what you're going to do for the day. Your calendar's relatively clear. I'm ready to go heads down and bang out some work on some things that I'm trying to finish. And that lasted for exactly 48 minutes because my power went out.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah, first time the power's ever gone out since we've lived here. I can't say that I've ever had like extended blackouts. There was one time in my old house where, again, I'm gonna like butcher the description of what happened, but I guess something got out of phase, so like half my house worked and the other half didn't. Like, I would turn on a light switch and like half the lights would come on. I don't know.
Like
Anyway,
a brownout kind of situation then?
Yeah,
I guess?
kinda.
Okay.
Kinda. So the power goes out, and I kind of sit there and everything goes dark, and I'm in my basement, so like my overhead lights go off, my computer's all shut off. Well, my monitor shut off, and like my main computer shut off, and like my battery backup kicked in, and it's beeping. I got beeping going on in the back cellar for like my server and my NAS. So I'm like, okay, well, that's fine. So I was just going to wait it out, because typically when the power goes out here, it does not go out for very long. And 10, 15 minutes goes by. Okay, power's not coming back. So I go on my phone and I'm looking at AEP's website. And, to AEP's credit, they actually have a pretty slick website. If you've ever well, you wouldn't, because you have like Uncle Buck's Power Company or whatever you have down.
Exactly. We just capture electricity that falls from the sky in barrels and use that.
Yeah. Fresh crop of electricity down there.
Yeah.
They've got a pretty cool website where they have like a real-time outage map. So I'm pinching and zooming on my phone and slapping my fingers all over it, trying to get it to zoom in enough to where I live. And sure enough, there's an outage reported in my area, and it says, estimated time to come back was like 10 o'clock. So that's like 40 minutes away. And I'm like, all right, well, that's fine. So I waited. I was able to work on some things on my Mac. I undocked it and took it upstairs and sat at my bar and was working, and 10 o'clock comes and goes, no power. So I go back on the website. Now it says 12:30. And I'm like, that sucks.
Yeah.
I'm like, man. And here's the thing. Like, it was really impacting my workflow, because the things that I was trying to get done today involved downloading and then re-uploading a bunch of data. So it wasn't like I was going to be able to like stay tethered to my phone to do what I needed to do. So I sent a Teams message to some of my teammates that I was working with, like saying, hey, just so you know, power outage, I'm doing what I can. I sent a message to my boss letting him know, because it was like Teams was showing me offline because I was like on my phone, but I was online but not. And anyway, I waited, and like it was getting to the point where I was like, okay, I should just pack up my stuff and drive over to Polaris and go to the office and just go in there and work where I know I can work. And just as I was packing everything up, the power comes back on. I'm like, all right. So I unpack everything. I set back up and I start working, and the power was back on for about 2 hours, and it flipped off again and was only off for like 10 minutes, came back on. And right around 3 o'clock, I was on a call. My power dropped again. It came back in another 10 minutes. And like, I didn't even bother trying to reboot my house for a third time, because, I have to go and I have to like restart servers. I have to restart VMs. I have to restart containers. I have to reboot my NAS. I have to remount my storage. Like, there is a process of bringing my house back online that has to happen every time this happens. And like the power went out again right as I was leaving for the gym. And you know what? Thank God for my garage door opener that has a battery backup, or I would have been stuck, because there'd have been no way for me to like secure my house. So it was a lot of that today, just a lot of like fits and starts and trying to get work done, and then some meetings that didn't necessarily go super great for me. I don't know, buddy. It's just a bad day, and like tomorrow's another day, and it'll be fine. But it was just a rough day. How was your day?
It was fine. It was fine. It was fine.
Just fine.
Just fine. Just fine. It's been a long week. I just want it to be. I mean, in fact, it's actually been a short week because we,
Didn't work on Monday.
Didn't work on Monday, but it's still been a long week, and I am looking forward to the weekend.
Yeah. What do you guys have going on?
Zach's got a football game Friday night.
Nice.
He's starting to feel better, so he should be marching in that. And I got to mow my lawn. I got to do that.
Oh, buddy, we're gonna talk about yard projects here in a minute.
Okay, but first, I've got beef.
I know. Go ahead. Let me have it. I saw this and it broke my heart. It breaks my heart.
Oh my God. Oh, so last week you raved about a movie you watched on Amazon Prime called Samaritan.
Yep.
That might have been the worst. I didn't finish the movie, but that may have been the worst about an hour of television I have seen in a long, long, long time. It was bad.
Okay.
It was really, really bad. I remember the moment I stopped watching it, because I sat down, I'm like, you know what? Like the whole family sitting in the living room. I'm like, hey, I'm going to turn on a movie. I've got to watch it for my homework. I got homework. So the whole family's watching it. And I remember it's right about an hour mark. I kind of looked over at my daughter and she gave me that look with like really big eyes. Like, what the hell is going on? I'm like, this is really bad, isn't it? She's like, uh-huh. And I just turned it off. Drew, not a single person in that movie acted well.
Okay,
nobody. Not nobody. I didn't care about any of the characters
in that movie.
It was, but like, I didn't even care about the characters. Like the whole thing happened, and I felt like no emotion or connection. I mean, Sylvester Stallone, he's a national treasure, but he should stop. He should just stop and like be rich and not be on screen anymore.
Okay,
he is near inintelligent. Like you can't understand him anymore. He doesn't emote. He doesn't act. He just stands there, delivers his lines in the most like boring way possible, where you can just barely understand what he's saying, and then and then he just moves to the next place he's supposed to be and delivers his lines with no emotion again. It was so bad.
Okay, let me just ask you one simple question. What part of the movie did you start watching it? Like what was happening when you stopped watching the movie?
Oh, I don't even remember. The boy had figured out who he was.
Okay.
What's his face had got the Nemesis mask and hammer.
Yep.
And then I just know, like, you can, like, the movie practically plays itself out. I'm like, well, I bet you the kid's going to try to get Samaritan to do something. He's not going to want to do it. The kid's going to get in trouble. He's going to come back. There's going to be a big fight. He's going to save the day. But
okay, all right.
I couldn't even care to be wrong.
Okay, but you are actually wrong, and that's why this movie is so good. If you stuck with it, you wouldn't be a big dummy. So put in a spoiler horn. Put in a spoiler horn here. Put in the spoiler horn.
Hey nerds, there's gonna be spoilers.
So everything you said is correct. The movie is holding your hand to make you think that you are getting to that conclusion, but that's not what happens. Yeah, that's why that movie's so good.
But the bad thing is like, the first hour of it is awful, and I don't care how good the next 40 minutes is. It's so bad.
So here's the twist that happens in like the last 20 minutes of the movie, and I admit it make you wait a long time for it. Turns out he's not Samaritan. He's Nemesis.
Oh, got it. Okay.
That's the big twist in the way they handle it in the last fight scenes, and like how he sort of turns things around. Like, I wouldn't say it has a super happy ending, but it has a pretty cool ending. And I just thought it was neat the way they did it, because like, I remember watching it and I'm like, man, Samaritan's really a dick. I wonder if he's really Samaritan. Oh, he's not Samaritan. And that
the thing is, like, I didn't get he's really a dick, because I got nothing out of Sylvester Stallone. Absolutely nothing.
Beating up children wasn't a big enough of a dick move.
But like, there was no, like, yeah, he threw some punches, but like, he didn't act. He didn't deliver any of his lines with any kind of feeling. It was just like, I'm going to stand up here and I'm going to just say this thing. What's my next line?
It's pretty good. It's pretty good Sylvester
I'm
Stallone
just going
impression.
to say the next. Like it was like nobody in that cast made me care about anything in that movie. And maybe it's just the director or the writer and it was low budget, but like it's just like I got better things to do with my time. And honestly, I probably should have stopped after 20 minutes because it was
where you stopped makes me sad. But I get it. Okay, it wasn't for you. I get it. Let's move past it.
It was
move
bad.
past it. It wasn't for you.
Oh.
It has a really cool twist. It has a really cool ending. I thought it was really good. And I love movies like taking the actors and the lack of acting, as you call it, out of it. I like movies like that where there's all this exposition and you sort of have to let your mind wander a little bit about the world they live in and why they have superpowers and how they heal and why when he gets in the shower it's all steamy and he eats ice cream all the time. Like they don't explain any of it. I love that.
And that's
like
that's fine. Like I mean, I love like one of my favorite movies is Mad Max Fury Road, and I love it because they don't explain shit. They don't explain shit. You just strap in. But the problem was like I could get past that. Like the plot was fine. It was fine. It's just literally everybody they cast did an awful job on making me care about the movie, about the world. Like there was not a single person I can point at to say, well, they were a good actor. No, every single person was bad.
Man.
It was
listen, I admit, I'm not going to say that it was a great, I'm not going to say anybody in that movie could act exceptionally well. Fine. I concede. But I still think it's a fun movie. I still think, again, if you had gotten to like the quote unquote twist, I think it was just something that, I don't know. I liked it. I won't make any more recommendations because every time I tell you to watch something, you hate it.
Oh, it was bad. Oh,
man, that sucks. I was really hoping you would get through that so we could talk about the last fight scene and everything. But whatever. So you got to mow your yard, huh?
Tell me about your yard, Drew.
Yeah,
what you got going on there?
Yeah, so it's fall season now. I think I don't know. Is it fall officially?
I have no idea.
I don't know how it works.
I'm just going to type "is it fall" into Google and see what it says. September 22nd. So no, it is not fall.
Okay, but we're getting there.
Yeah, we're close. Yeah.
Yeah. So I have a lot of projects going on at the house right now. So we had that torrential downpour on Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much rain you got, but we got a lot.
We got a ton of rain. It
was like 2.5 inches of rain here. And, knock on wood, my sump pump overflowed a little bit and there was a little bit of water that was kind of weeping through one of the walls. And I just have to go back there and dry lock it. But it's all in my back cellar and it's not a problem. But one problem area of my yard right now is right in front of my front door. The sidewalk does not slope in the right direction. It's like flat. So when it rains that heavy or we have a lot of snow that melts or whatever, water it turns my front doorstep basically into a lake. And there's nowhere for that water to go. And thank God that, none of that water wound up in my finished basement. The closest place I think that could get into is one of my crawl spaces, but I've taken a peek back there and I don't see anything happening back there. So I think we're okay, but still that's a big part of it. And, we got people coming to give me quotes on like concrete releveling and, there's all sorts of projects, but my yard, like this is the time of year that is like absolutely critical. Like these first like 3 weeks of September are absolutely critical for yard care. So, just to give you a sample of what's going on here. So I actually intentionally killed some spots of grass in my yard.
You going to replant?
Yeah. So I've already reseeded and everything was fine until, the flood. So I probably have to go out there and, like for instance, I already overseeded, I fertilized, I basically tore up and raked, and I actually bought some new tools. So I mean, I love to. Let me see if I can find a link to this. I'm in a tool buying mood.
That is one thing I have to do. Maybe I'll do that this weekend or next. I think this weekend. We did we had a trampoline, and we finally disposed of it. And of course, being a trampoline, it kind of killed the grass underneath it. So I need to do the kind of thing I need to go through and like dethatch all that stuff.
Yeah.
And
So
put some seed down.
so for me, I actually had a company come and aerate the yard. Because I don't know if that's ever been done here, because the thatch on my yard is crazy.
That thing looks wicked.
Yeah, so that's what I bought. So I've talked about this before, but I have a still combi system, and what it is it's an engine with like a drive shaft, and you just put different attachments on it. So when I looked at how much of my yard and the patches of grass that I really wanted to rip up, I had the bright idea to go buy a mini cultivator attachment for my tool. And this thing does exactly as advertised, man. I got in there and I sliced and diced and stripped out a lot of grass and created some unnecessary divots in my yard in the process. But there was like one section of my yard. So one of the more problematic areas of my yard is shortly after we moved in last year, they redid the curbs in our neighborhood.
Okay.
And they broke some of my sprinkler heads and they killed a lot of the grass in the process. And honest to God, I think a truck like drove over part of my yard. So like right in the corner of my yard near the curb, there's just like this huge hump of dirt with like a perfectly formed tire tread through it that grass is then is then like grown in. And if I'm mowing, if I'm not careful, one of those wheels goes down in that rut and I'm flinging dirt. Like it's bad. So I bought this tool and I went over there, and after I had sprayed some grass and weed killer over there, I used this thing to sort of like thin out the area and chop out some of the dirt. And then I used it to break up some of the thatch and some of the grass. And then I used a rake to get the rest. I couldn't remove all the grass because I swear to God, like this grass is like super grass. Like I gave it 2 applications of the weed killer and grass killer, and like even as I'm raking it, like it's still holding on for dear life. So like I got most of the grass out of there, but there's still some dead stuff that I think will eventually die out. And I overseeded my yard already, and then I bought some additional grass seed and just sort of like hand spread it on the dirt, because the whole goal is if you want to do grass seed, you have to get seed to dirt. So like you said, go out there with a metal rake your yard so that you can break up the thatch and you can expose some of the dirt. And then if the seed hits the dirt and you have a good quality seed, you don't even have to cover it. Like you can just water it and it'll take off. But
Man, I've watched this video that they have about this mini cultivator ripping up the dirt. Ever since I've been watching it on repeat.
It's pretty good, right?
It just gets in there.
Yeah, I mean, again, so this is the 3rd attachment that I have for this thing. I also have, let me see, do they even have it? FCSKM. Hold on. They have like the weirdest FCSKM. Yep, this is the one. I also have this, and this is the whole reason I bought the tool that I have right now in the first place, because I wanted an edger. And this thing is awesome. Like this thing just absolutely does perfect edges. And this is a gas powered thing, so it cranks. I also have an FBDKM question mark.
It's in tight.
FBDKM. And I bought, so this is a bed redefiner. So this is good for like in the spring after, we're ready to redo our flower beds or mulch beds or things. Like this has like the scooper action that sort of helps you redefine your flower beds and everything. You need some serious horsepower to drive this. They recommend the bigger combi tool. I have the combi motor 110, I believe, and it works, but I have to go over the spot a few times just because this thing really has to dig down deep, and we have like really heavily clay soil, so it's like it gets kind of gummed up a little bit, and it works, but it doesn't work as well as I would hope it did. And I'm probably gonna buy next. Let me see. Yeah, HTKM. This is what I want next. This thing is so fucking cool. Yep. I'm also gonna buy one of these guys. Putting a link in there now. A pole pruner. And, I mean, it's a giant chainsaw on a stick. So you get up there and really trim some of your tree branches. Because I have one of their electric chainsaws now, and it's wonderful. but this will help me get some of the other branches and everything. So anyway, I mean, I just bought some more cool tools and doing the yard projects. Oh, and then the other thing was I actually had a tree that died.
Oh,
yeah.
So you had to have someone come and pull that out, or?
Yeah. So it's happening in stages. So I just got the first bill today, and brother, that is not a cheap service.
Yeah.
So it was a big mature tree too. So I was really sad, and like, you know, I had told my neighbor about it, and he's like, "Yeah, just get it taken down." So they came and cut it down. Like at the start of the spring and the summer, it was fine, and then we had that really bad heat wave, and like the leaves started to fall off it, and I just thought, maybe it's the heat or whatever, but it wasn't coming back. And I actually had like an actual certified arborist come to my house and look at it, and I guess it had a disease, so it had to come out. And they cut it down and they hauled away everything, so that's money well spent. But they still have to come and grind the stump, and we're gonna replace the tree too with something it's not going to be as big as it was because it was a really old and mature tree, but it'll grow, you know, eventually, because that's what trees do.
They do.
Yeah. Anyway, there's just lots happening in my house right now.
A lot going on.
Okay, a couple other things here. More follow-up for the show. Paul, have you got any Kickstarter stuff recently you forgot about?
I have not.
I got one. I got the Castles of Mad King Ludwig Collector's Edition.
In fact, the thing I'm looking at my backed projects. The only thing that I haven't got yet are my heavies.
Heavies. Oh, right, the heavies.
Uh-huh.
Where? What's the status of those?
I think they're in production. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, I got the collector's edition of Castles of Mad King Ludwig, and I mean, we've played this before. It's a fun game.
It's a fun game. I'm looking at it on Kickstarter, some of the pictures on Kickstarter right now. That looks cool.
It's absolutely wonderful. All the expansions are in here. They give you organizers. They give you metal coins, because honestly, dealing with the coins in that game was the most fucking thing in the world. They give you coins. They give you plastic bits to build onto your castle. I had completely forgotten about it. I was glad that it showed up. If you look at everything that it includes, I think I did the Royal 2 package because I'm a simp.
Yeah, of course.
I did not get the Colossal version.
Oh, okay.
But because look at that. I mean, goddamn. It's like they thick though. I don't have a table big enough to play with the Colossal tiles, to be honest.
So that's the game, just with bigger pieces?
Yes.
Oh, that's too big.
It's I don't know. See, you really have to look carefully at some of the symbols. So I think bigger tiles are good.
That's true, but it's a game, even in its regular size state, it takes up a lot of room.
Yep. It sure freaking does.
Yeah.
Like, I don't think I could play that in my board game table with all
maybe
the parts.
With 2 players.
Maybe 2. Four is out. I'd have to, that's more of a dining room table game, honestly. Yeah. But anyway, this showed up and they did a really good job with it. What I wasn't prepared for, though, is they actually changed some of the rules.
Oh.
Yeah, and I think they're for the better. I mean, I haven't played it yet, but this has like all the expansions. They retweaked some of the rules on some things. They added some more different room sizes that cost different things. So I haven't played it yet. Maybe we'll have a game night here soon where we crank it out. But this showed up. Oh, and the favor tiles are clay tiles. It's just mwah. Like it's what I expect for the price point of a collector's edition. Like it was really good. First impressions of it are pretty awesome. But you still haven't gotten your heavies?
No, well, I mean, I backed them. It hasn't been that long.
Oh, hold on. We're going back. We're going back in the time machine.
When did I back them? Let's see. Hold on. Okay. Back. How do I view all? Okay. When did I back them?
I think they're in an archive version of the show notes, which does not bode well for you.
I mean, well, it's Kickstarter. So originally it said estimated delivery in August of 2022.
Yes.
That's in the past.
We are recording episode 165. We talked about this in episode 133.
Okay. All right. So it's been a while. But yeah, I mean, they give updates. They're making them. They're making them. 6,200 people backed them. So There you go.
6,000 people are going to get the heavies.
Here we go. We are currently on track to ship your headphones by November 17th.
So have them just in time for the holidays.
Here you go. Oh.
Okay. Moving on.
Mm-hmm.
So you professed your love of your M2 MacBook Air.
Mm-hmm.
And according to what I'm reading in the docs here, you found a way to finally push it.
Oh, I sure did. I sure did, Drew.
Okay.
So, like, if you've been on the internet at all, you've kind of you had to have seen this AI generated images are very popular these days. Very popular. What there's DALL-E 2. There's an open source one called Stable Diffusion. And I was scrolling through the internet as one does, and I saw this instruction about like, hey, this is how you get Stable Diffusion to run on Apple Silicon hardware. And I was like, I'll give that a try. So it's actually not that hard to download. It's just basically it's a Python library. You have to download the model, which is like 4 gigs, and put it in place and learn how to use the command line. Like there's no UI to it. It's all command line driven, right?
Sure.
Which is fine. I'm yay. That's great for me. But you can like pass it different parameters and have it take more samples and produce more things. And man, and the last few ones I've done, I've basically had it making like 15 images at a decent like sample rate. It's like how many images it looks at to figure out what you're saying. So you can type in like, a very sad computer and it will try to draw you a very sad computer. Like the first time it goes through, I mean, it doesn't take forever, right? But, it takes, probably a couple minutes to generate the first image. But then, like, I can watch the second one, and it takes maybe 3 minutes. And the fourth one takes maybe 3.5 minutes as it's just really pushing the GPU, and it's just more than it can handle. But it does work. It does work, Drew. It's fun to play with. You can find lots of instructions about how to do it. If you play with this, Drew, and you don't, if you read just enough where you learn how to use it, but you don't look into a lot of details, you'll give it prompts and it'll spit you back a bunch of images, and you'll go, why am I seeing so much of Rick Astley? And then I did one and like it generated like 15 images and 3 of them were Rick Astley, whatever you pronounce his last name, the Rickroll guy. And so I Googled it. Stable Diffusion currently has a part of what it runs is it looks at the image it generates and tries to decide whether it is adult, it's not safe for work.
Okay.
And if it thinks that it is, it just replaces the image with Rick Astley.
So you were rickrolled by an AI model.
Yeah, yes, absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
and I was confused, like, why do I keep seeing this man? And that's why it and like you can go through and hack some of the Python files and remove that part, but it's like, oh, that may be a penis. Here you go.
Well,
yeah.
I mean, that's not the worst thing in the world.
No.
Okay, let me ask you a question. I got a couple questions for you.
Mm-hmm.
So you doing this was strictly an exercise to see if you could get it right on the M2, or were you actively trying to produce images for something?
I was curious to see what it take. Like, I was curious to see, how hard it was to get running, what it was. I poked around some of the Python files. It is way beyond me. It's math that I don't even freaking understand. I was just curious. So I just wanted to get it running and pass it into a few images and see if I can get some funny stuff out of it. It's actually kind of fun.
It does look fun, actually.
So, and there's 2 modes that you can run this in, right? Mm-hmm. So there's text to image and image to image. So text to image is just what you think. You'd give it a prompt, like like I said, a sad computer, and it will try to draw you a sad computer. The second one is image to image, where you still pass in it a prompt, but you also give it an image. So like, say you wanted a picture of, two giant robots fighting. You could crudely draw two giant robots fighting and whatever explosions and backgrounds you wanted crudely, give that as a JPEG, and then also give it a text description saying, hey, I want to see two robots fighting and, all that stuff. And then it will basically draw on top of your picture to produce it. I haven't tried that one yet, but yeah, it's fun. It's fun. If you've got a little technical know-how and you want to play around with this stuff, it's interesting. It's really amazing how it's a combination of sometimes it produces an image and you're like, wow, that's amazing. And sometimes it produces just these abominations. But it's fun. It's fun to play with. Computers.
So what was the best thing you've made so far?
So people, I'm an Apple. We're going to talk about it next. The Apple event was yesterday?
Yep.
Okay, yesterday. And some people at work give me shit for being an Apple fan. That's fine. It's fine. So I think
I know you work with, and that tracks.
Yeah. So what did I put in somebody enjoying an Apple event a little too much. And some of the image, like there's this one where it's like Tim Cook holding up a nondescript device and his like face is just like, it looks like something out of a horror movie. And it's just,
that should probably be the show art.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest.
Oh.
Well, I mean, I remember when people were getting excited about the, what is it? Doll,
whatever it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
People were really excited about that, and then I saw some people talking about Stable Diffusion, and honestly, it's one of those things that's been on my back burner to do here for a little bit. I haven't. But this crossed my radar again because friend of the show, Brent Ozar, I don't know if you saw, he took people's entity relationship diagrams and ran them through Stable Diffusion.
That's awesome.
So I will be a link in the show notes to it, and you can see what he did. He was able to like generate anime villain like AR
awesome.
diagrams. Now, when you're generating the image, I'm a little curious. Are the images all spit out in 512 by 512, or can you make them bigger?
I don't know if you. I'm sure there's a way to make them bigger, but that they're coming out as 512 right now. So yeah.
I mean, it looks like there is a a height and width and downsampling. I don't know. I'd have to play with it. I might give it a shot.
You have to play with it, and you're gonna have to like wait and to see how it takes time to generate the images, and like you can pass it too much because like it relies heavily on your RAM of your graphics card, right? So you can tell it to do too much, and it will just go, no, I'm done. So, but it's fun. It's amazing that like you can get this stuff to run on your computer at home and not like a supercomputer at NASA. It's just amazing. And the model file, the file that is driving all of this, is just a little over 4 gigs.
So how hard did it push your laptop?
CPU hardly at all. GPU extremely hard. Yeah.
And you have the 8 GPU cores, right?
Yeah, whatever the most expensive one is. I think it's 8 GPU. And like the advantage I have is, right, so I have 24 gigs of RAM and my computer can use all of that for the video memory.
Right.
Or as if it wants to, right? So I have a little bit of a head up there, but one thing I don't have is like I'm sure your gaming rig would just eat through these way faster than mine would. But the fact that I can do it at all is still pretty spectacular.
Man, I'll have to try this.
Oh, it's a 10 core GPU.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
And 10 core CPU?
8 core CPU.
8 core. Okay, that's what it was. I knew that there was a different number. I couldn't remember if it was higher or lower.
Yeah.
That's cool, buddy. I'm gonna play with it. I'm just gonna maybe that'd be something I do this weekend if I have some time.
Yeah, it's fun.
Yeah, I could probably get some weird shit to get spit out of there.
Oh, you absolutely can. Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. Speaking of Apple, from their event, did you watch it?
I did.
What do you think?
If you just like take a step back and talk about the event in general, Apple is getting really good about putting together these like pre-recorded films. They're basically just films to talk about their products. They're getting really good. They're getting really creative with that kind of stuff. I've just like the showmanship of it. It just, I enjoyed, and they released some pretty interesting stuff. Like that big chunky watch. Did you see the big chunky watch?
Yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah.
I mean, listen, even if I was in the market for new Apple Watch, that watch is not for me.
It is. So in the back of my head, like, I love my Apple Watch. I still wear it all the time. I would like it to be a little bit bigger, or have an option to have a little bit of a bigger size. I get it. They can't make every possible size. So going into this, hearing the rumors that they're going to do a bigger Apple Watch that's targeted to people that have outdoor life, people that go outside, people that aren't me. Right. I was just kind of curious, mostly around the fashion aspects of it. The watch, the watch has a lot of cool stuff. If you go hiking in the mountains, or I guess it could be a really subpar dive computer if you're a scuba diver. It does a lot of stuff. I don't do any of that stuff, so I really cared about how it looked, and it's ugly.
Yeah. I don't like the look of it. I think the size is nice.
Yeah, the size is nice, and I like the titanium. I like the orange, the orange highlights, but like the way it kind of like has like a bell shape, and it's so thick. It's
like bulbous.
It's bulbous. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Bulbous is the word.
Yeah.
What do you think of those? What do you think of those straps?
I mean, I get what they're I get what they're going for. Like, these are straps made for people that, run a triathlon, or go swimming, or do an Ironman, or, climb a mountain. They're not for me. They're not for me, Drew.
Yeah. It's not for me either. But given that, the non-pro version, anything there worth buying for you?
I don't think so. I have a 6, so I'm a couple years old. I mean, I guess the biggest thing, maybe the most interesting feature there, is like the crash detection stuff. So if you get in a car crash, your watch can detect it. In fact, the new phones can do that too. And then call for help if you need it. And that's kind of cool. Like, I mean, it's cool, but like, so I'm going to, all the stuff I talked about, the presentation of the stagecraft, I'm going to dial a little bit back, because I think Apple is really leaning into the fact, like, hey, this new iPhone and this new watch, if you don't buy it, you are going to die.
Yeah. Yeah, that was really weird. That was really weird. I'm not going to lie.
And I get it. Like, these devices do save people's lives, and I totally understand what they're doing. But like, it gets a little much where it's like, yeah, like the poor guy who got caught in the trash compactor. Like, oh my God, Apple, what the hell are you doing?
Wow. Okay.
So I assume you're not in the market for any of these new watches.
No, I am not in the market for a watch. Now, Mandy might be.
Okay.
Her watch is a little bit older, not super old. I think I got her that one, I want to say it was last year for Christmas. So hers is relatively new, so I don't necessarily know if she's in the market for it. But this household is definitely in the market for new phones.
Okay.
So
what you looking at?
I'm looking at a Pro for me.
Okay.
I'm looking at just a regular 14 for her, and to replace my work phone.
Nice.
So that's what we're looking at. Now,
so 3 phones?
Yeah, I think it might be.
Okay.
I think it might be. Before we dive into the one that I want, tell me about Dynamic Island.
Okay, so horrible name, really cool feature.
Okay.
So obviously, the rumor's been from the Pro phones that Apple is getting rid of the notch and they're going to, like, I guess they're called cutouts, where basically the sensors and the camera are behind the screen, and there's like a little, like, you see a lot of Androids with like a little circle or a little pill shape that's black that holds all the sensors and the camera and stuff. And Apple definitely went that direction, right? They put the Face ID stuff, they put the, I think the speakers back there, the speakers. I don't know, the speaker behind there, it doesn't matter. The camera, the Face ID sensor, all that, the front facing phone stuff in this little black island. But Apple was like, well, we can't just do that. We gotta Apple the shit out of that thing.
Apple the shit out of it, bud.
So they invented this thing called the Dynamic Island, which like basically turns that array of blackness and black pixels into like where notifications come from, and all those little like it does stuff, like it grows in size when you unlock it with like Face ID. It, like, if you have a timer, it'll show your timer status up there. If you're listening to music, you can see what's playing there, and you can click on it, and it's interactive. And like, they were just going to let those that black island sit there and do nothing. So they it's actually really pretty freaking cool looking, I have to admit. I was really impressed with that part of
it.
The
Does,
demo.
yeah. It does look like they did a good job with that.
Yeah.
So I am having a hard time deciding what color I want. Because purple, starlight, and blue are just a little too light for my taste.
I think if I was going to buy one of these, I would definitely do the purple.
You think so?
Oh yeah. I'm not a big fan of the black. I find it just very kind of boring. I mean, maybe I have had silver phones in the past. I would maybe do that, but to me, the purple is the only one that like is like, ooh, that's new and that's interesting to look at. Yeah, I would do the purple.
Purple.
I would do the purple for the Pro, and I would do the purple for the 14 if I was going to get the 14, which I guess we'll talk about what I'm going to be getting shortly.
Hang on. Well, so here's the thing, right? I need... Man, okay, hold on. iPhone 14. I got to pull it up. So the iPhone 14 is going to replace Mandy's XR, and I'm also going to get a 14 to replace my work XR. Come on, please just let me see the colors. That's all I want.
Yeah, pretend you're buying it. It's the best way to do it. Yeah.
See, for me, there's not enough difference between the white and the purple. The purple is just too light. The blue is more teal than blue.
I think this is the first year where I think the colors on the Pro are better than the non-Pro.
I haven't really looked at the Pros yet.
So the purple on the purple on the Pros is called Deep Purple, and it's darker.
Okay, so if I do iPhone 14 Pro, let's go back and look at that. So view pricing. Oh, never mind. That's the wrong one. iPhone 14 Pro, view pricing. Pro, nobody wants a Max.
My wife does.
Well, okay. The deep purple looks good. Gold is no. Gold is urine. Let's just be honest. Like, gold is urine color.
Yeah.
Silver's not bad.
It's been the purple and silver.
And black is pretty timeless. But okay. Yep. Purple for me. Purple for me on the Pro. Yep. Not even. I mean, of the four, it's not even close.
Yeah.
It's not even close. But the 14 though.
Yeah, that's tougher. It's the purple there is so
Mandy's
watered
gonna want
down.
Blue. Mandy's gonna want blue.
Yeah, I mean the product red one is pretty sharp looking if you can live with the red phone.
I
Oh.
mean, that phone is for emergencies. Um, yeah, I don't know. White, man. The back on those aren't glass, right? They're just metal.
No, they're glass.
Are they glass on the regular 14s?
Yeah. The big difference is the band on the Pros is stainless steel, where they're aluminum on the
Right.
yeah, they can't be metal because they do wireless charging, so that doesn't
Right.
work. So it has to be
Yeah.
plastic or glass, and Apple won't use plastic, so
Yeah.
they're glass. Yeah.
Yeah. Maybe
Mhm.
maybe I'll get 2 blue ones. Or black. I mean, the red is something. Holy
It
cow,
is.
that's bright.
It is. It's intense.
That's very red.
It's Crayola crayon red. Like
people will mistake me for an Iowa State fan if I have that phone.
that is the only risk. Yes.
Blue, I think it's purple. That purple is more lilac than purple.
It is. Yeah.
Maybe just good old black for that one.
Maybe.
So what are you gonna get?
What am I going to order tomorrow? Nothing.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Nothing.
Why?
So there's my wife and I both have 13 Pros. So
Right.
my phone is fine, except for the fact that it has, what are they calling it? The static peninsula and not the dynamic island.
Well done.
Okay. So I am interested about the new camera features for my wife. The one thing she always complains about, the previous phones were always 14 megapixels, so she could never really like zoom them out or use those pictures for like a large print or something. They're just not high enough quality. They're great on your phone, they're great on your computer, but if you try to make them a large print, this don't work. Well, this camera's got a 48 megapixel camera, so I figured, that solves the problem. Well, no, they use pixel binning, so basically they use 4 pixels for one, and the image is still 14 megapixels. So it doesn't solve that problem at all. So I think for her, I'm going to wait until like the first set of reviews come out, really take a look at the pictures and the camera quality and see whether it's worth upgrading for her. Both of my kids also need new phones. My son is rocking an 11 and my daughter has a 12 Pro, but it's having some problems. The one thing that has me a little apprehensive about ordering it on release day is the whole fact that they're transferring to eSIM.
Yeah.
So there's no SIM card in these. And I know there is like a way to transfer the process and stuff, but I don't expect that rollout to go out very well from AT&T.
Oh, that's a really good point.
So I kind of just want to sit back and see how that all plays out.
You know what? That is a very good idea, Paul. Maybe I will also wait. I'm glad you brought that up. I feel like that is probably a recipe for disaster.
I'm just nervous about like all the people getting their new phones and having to do that. And I'm sure it has to be activated through their servers and stuff. And I just don't trust.
Yeah.
I don't trust the carriers to handle that very well at first. I'm sure they will absolutely figure it out and it will be a smooth process. But that just worries me.
Man. Dude, once again, you have dropped some serious knowledge on all of our 6 listeners.
Yeah. So at some point, there will probably be at least a pair of iPhone 14s being purchased, possibly a new iPhone 14 Plus for me. I do not want to rule out buying one for myself either because it looks really freaking cool.
Yeah.
But right now, there's too much uncertainty. I don't know exactly like with my wife and the stuff. And I'm gonna sit back. I'm gonna read the reviews when they come in, and I know that means I probably, even like if I order it a week late, I probably won't get it to November, but whatever. Like, it's
I don't
fine.
know about that, man. Like I didn't order mine. When I ordered my Pro, I did not do it the day of, and I think I found it like a week later.
Okay, yeah. Well, it is the iPhone. They do make a shit ton of them, so
They really do. And unless you have to have it that day,
Mhm.
I mean, if you wait till October, so what?
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like, even if I wait a week or 2 weeks to order it, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. So I'm not going to rush any of my decisions. I'm going to think about it some more. I'm going to watch how it all plays out. I mean, yes, there probably will be phones purchased by me. I'm also I haven't rolled out upgrading my watch to the 8, even though my 6 is absolutely fine. They do have like a midnight color that does match my laptop really well. And maybe, but as like, am I gonna set a reminder tomorrow? Nah, it'll be fine.
I was using the Apple Store app. They're letting you basically do everything ahead of time except pull the trigger.
Yeah, I did that last year and it worked wonderful.
Yeah, I was actually going through that after I ate dinner today, and I was starting to get it set up. But part of the reason I didn't do anything is I wanted to talk about it with you, and I think you helped talk me out of it. So,
but that pre-order stuff, like you get everything absolutely set up. You go, finding your saved order can be a little tricky at times, but once you go and you find it, you just review it and you're like, yep, and you hit okay. And then if you're using Apple Pay, you just point it at your face and it goes ding, or double tap the button, and then you're done. It's great.
Yeah, and then I think you show up at the store, you get in the line for people who are able to plan ahead, and then that you go in and you get your phone, and you're done.
I always have it delivered to me because I'm lazy, but yeah. And I don't live as close to an Apple store as you do. So,
I mean, I live pretty close to an AT&T store now.
Oh, that's okay. That's where you go. Okay.
Yeah. There's one here in Dublin that's not too far. Polaris is not that. I mean, I can take back roads to get to Polaris, and I'm there in like 15 minutes if there's no traffic.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's not bad. Yeah. Let's see what else. New AirPods Pro. I don't like them.
I don't like them either.
Yeah.
I know a lot of people that do, and I think if you like if you're an AirPod Pro like power user and use them every day, to me, I think like being able to just rub your finger up and down to change the volume, it's worth the upgrade right there. Like that is a huge feature. I want that to come to all the AirPods. But yeah, I mean they're better. They're better, of course. Transparency mode's better. They sound better battery life, but they're uncomfortable for me. I don't like them. I'm a AirPods 3rd generation guy.
Same.
So, yep.
Same. Mine are still working very well, so no need to replace those. I don't want that thing in my ear.
Yep.
Let's see. Are we missing anything there on the Apple thing?
I think it was
right?
It was AirPods, watches, and phones. So,
yep.
Your phone can talk to space now.
Your phone can talk to space.
Yeah, did you watch that part?
No.
Okay, so the iPhone 14 and iPhone 14 Plus has satellite connectivity for emergencies.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yes, I did see that.
Mm-hmm. Which I think it's another one of those features where they're like, if you don't buy this, you will die.
Yep.
But I think it's smart. Like, it's one of those features I hope you never have to use, or you don't know anybody that has to use. But if you have to use it, like that's a pretty cool feature.
Yeah. Again, I don't necessarily find myself in those situations.
I don't either, but I guess that's the whole point. You don't expect to be in those situations, but
it's true.
Yeah,
it's true.
Yeah.
All right. Well, I've been talked out of. I've been talked out of buying it. So,
I mean, you could still order it. Like you don't have to be as apprehensive as I am. I'm sure it'll be fine. I'm just like I haven't even done the thing with my kids where I asked them what color they want or check their phone to see how they're doing on storage to see what they have to like. I haven't done any of that. everyone's probably in bed right now, so I can't even do that now. So I'm just gonna like take a deep breath. This iPhone day is gonna go past me, and I'm not gonna give Apple any of my money, but they will get it at some point because both of my kids need new phones, and I'm not the kind of person that would like. They both need. They just need new phones. They need new phones. It'll be nice. I'm trying to be a nice dad. Like they both got a. No, my son's phone was new. My daughter's with a hand-me-down. It'd just be nice. Like go here. Here's a brand new phone. You get to open it and set it all up yourself. You don't have to like. Just yeah. I'm trying to be that dad. Well, I can't. I guess by their love. But I'm just gonna wait and see how the rollout goes.
Gotcha. All right. Well, for everybody else that's getting new stuff, hopefully you'll enjoy it. I mean,
yeah.
I am still gonna do it. It's just a question of when.
Same. There's at least 2 phones in my future. The question is just when. Yep.
Yeah. All right, buddy. Well, let's wrap this up.
Yeah, let's do that. Hey, you know where to find us if you listen. Geez. We're on the internet, doingtheirbest.com, on Twitter at doingbestpod. I'm on Twitter at Paul Baylor. And where can we find you, Drew?
Yeah, and I'm on Twitter at Pittfurg, Pittfurg.
All right, everybody. Thanks for listening.